We're just about there.
Okay. Uh,
Okay.
okay. Where'd you
Actually,
go?
we're ready to go. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. I can see you now too. There you
Okay.
go. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so we're live on Rumble and it took a minute, so I think we're good. And I can see us there. So anyway, welcome, Robert. It's nice to see you again and have you on the show again. So I know we're going to be talking about C60 and your products, and I don't know, but I might have an older banner. I was hoping to get a newer one, but I somehow it didn't come through. So you might have some new things to talk about, and if I can get the banner in the meanwhile, that'd be nice, and I'll put it on my um, screen here.
Okay.
But all right, so go ahead and introduce yourself and your products.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, I'm Bob Greska with Carbon 60. And Carbon 60 has been a new product. It's no, we discovered in 1985. They just passed its 40 years. So there's a lot of good things that have happened with it in 40 years' time. They've made stronger fibers. They made, these nanoparticles really give electrons to free radicals and help with many health issues. And we're going to talk about some of those today. I'm an aerospace carbon engineer. I worked in for carbon most of my life, and I was able to produce this carbon 60 molecule, not in a traditional sense with solvents, but we don't use any solvents, so they're very clean and very, very small compared to the industrial grade, like 200,000 times smaller in size. So they're very bioavailable, and we're going to talk about eye health, some hearing health, wounds, some scabs, lumps, bumps, and metastasis, metal toxicity, radiation, allergies, if we get through all that. But
Okay, sounds good. So first of all, can you describe C60 and why your particular brand of it might be different than others?
well, it's different than all the others out there. And well, like I said, I'm a carbon engineer for most of my life. And our particles, we don't use any solvents in the production process of making carbon 60, which all the other ones do. They're in industrial grade. They use most of them for solar cells and lubricants. We make the only food grade, which has no solvents, which, there's a little bit of toxicity in these solvents and they accumulate in your body. It's toluene, and that accumulates in your body, but we don't use that. We don't use we don't even have it in the house. So it doesn't get put into our product. We have a special methodology of developing it. And what the carbon 60 molecule does, it basically gives up an electron. And if you look at all your free radicals and your toxins in your body, free radicals are molecules missing an electron. And if you have a molecule missing an electron, it will steal an electron from its neighboring molecule. And that one will steal from its neighbor, that one from its neighbor, and that one from its neighbor. And that domino cascading effect is called oxidative stress. And it rips through a cell and causing that cell not to function. That's one electron. So the carbon 60 will give an electron, stop the oxidative stress, let that cell perform the way it's supposed to instead of being crippled. And so your body, that's what causes all your health problems is this oxidative stress in this molecule missing electron. Similarly, with toxins, toxins by definition come into your body, they're an electron stealer, and they'll steal an electron off of a molecule and cause it to be a free radical. And if you get too many of those in one location, that organ or cellular activity or gland or something doesn't work properly and it's disrupted, a high density concentration of them, they call it cancer. So,
Right. So, and this is something that actually I try to take every day, but I don't know if you're supposed to take it every day, but I just like it. But can you describe like how often you recommend it, that sort of thing?
well, it comes in a little dropper bottle like such, and it's you just squeeze the rubber bulb a couple times, pull it up, and it's very black. I'll see if I can do it against my shirt, but it's very black. It's carbon. And you just take that and put that in your mouth once a day is all you really need. And you're getting over, gosh, like 100 billion carbon 60 molecules. So they're in your body, they circulate. There's no toxicity to it. There's no too much. It's carbon. It's what we're made out of. So it's not unfamiliar to your body. Your body utilizes it and utilizes mainly the electrons off of it.
So why doesn't everyone take it every day? I mean, just they don't know about it or what?
Well, they don't know about it. It's a relatively new market. When I started, there were like 1 in 10,000 that had even heard about it. Now it's about 1 in 100. So it's gaining popularity as it's going on. And so it works. It works very good. We have an extremely high success rate with basically any health issue, because all health issues, except for mechanical defects like broken bones, all health issues are caused by these molecules missing electron. And if you satisfy that molecule with an electron, now that organ or gland or whatever secretes what it needs to, it turns it on. And these things are so small, they go throughout your whole body. They're very, very tiny. Just to give you an idea how small they are, if you had one red blood cell and you fill them with these tiny little molecules, you can fit 14 billion inside of a red blood cell, one red blood cell, 14 billion of these molecules that give up electrons. So it goes everywhere in your body. They're harmless. They're used to get an electron from, and that's about it. There's no negative, no downside, no toxicity if you're pregnant or whatever. My daughter took it during her pregnancy, and people have. There's no negatives.
Right. And it tastes like it doesn't hurt you in any way. It's got a
Yeah.
very sort of soft taste to
Well,
it.
we do have it in olive oil also, which has a little bit of taste to it. Tastes like olive oil. People requested it and they wanted it in olive oil. It doesn't matter what the carrier is. We have it in sunflower oil, which is a low omega-6 sunflower. We have it in olive oil. We have it in water. And we have a face serum in squalane oil. It's a very high-end cosmetic oil, squalane. And that works very well with acne, with wrinkles and blemishes and age spots and so forth like that. It helps out that quite a bit.
Okay. So something weird is going on with our, okay, I guess we're fine. One part of the video is doing something weird. Okay, on another page. Anyway, so can I get you to talk about what's new with your products?
What's new with it? Just some testimonies that have been coming in, on like let's talk about eye health. I mean, we've been making the product longer than anybody on the planet, since 2012. So we have the process down. We had it down from the beginning. So the new information that's coming in on people that have eye health, pressure in their eye, and so forth like that, that goes away. Um, I have an interesting story. I was out to Hawaii. I was on an expo, and I had an Uber driver that picked me up at the airport. And she said she had, sore, her knees were sore. So at the stoplight, I said, here's a bottle of our topical mist. Just spray it on your knees at the stoplight. She did. By the time she dropped me off within 10 minutes, she said, my knee pain's gone. And I said, look, I need a ride 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to go to the expo. Come pick me up. Here's a bottle. She said, oh, great. Thanks. I'll take it and try it. She went
That's
home
great.
she took that. That was about 1:30 in the afternoon. she went home, and that evening she told me her hearing was heightened. She could, when they went out to dinner, her and her husband, and she could hear the person next to her at the table. They could hear them talking. She normally could not hear them talking at all. And it's only one dose. It's miraculous. Sometimes some of the stories come back, they're too hard to believe. But I get so many of them coming in. And so she came back the next day and told me her husband was going around the house and whispering her name, Jennifer, Jennifer. And so she says, cut it out, I can hear you. And everybody on the island, this is the Hawaii, the Oahu, where Honolulu is located. She knows a lot of people out there, and she's an Uber driver. So she became a reseller. She has my business card up in her car, and she drives around and tells people about Carbon 60. So that's been
That's
a fun
great.
story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I had, I guess, I don't know if it was you or someone from your team sent me sort of a list and said there were some things to cover. So I just want to make sure that we cover those things that are on the list. Um, I'm trying to find the list here, but
Well,
so maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was someone else.
you mean talking about like wound healing and
Yeah, whatever,
oh
it's up to you. I'm
yeah.
gonna, because
Okay,
I
let me
don't
let me
have
go through.
any
I've got the
specific
list in front of me
questions.
here. So we'll talk about wound healing. I got a doctor in southern Florida, and we got pictures on our website under testimonies. You can go to our website, www.c60.com, and go to /Camelot to get Carrie's uh, advertising covered, so to speak.
Right.
But I've got this wound healing doctor, and you can go over that probably in detail better than I can. I'll say it again. But he's a wound healing doctor. He heals people that their wounds don't heal, they don't close up. Diabetics and so forth like that. And there's pictures on our website that shows the arm before and after, and it's only like 6 or 8 days, showing wounds that don't heal and they close up and they work. We've even had people with brown recluse spider bites and so forth like that. We also have people that have these also scabs from sun damage. Like this one gentleman had it on the top of his head, and he had them diagnosed, and yeah, they were more than scabs, lumps and bumps and so forth. And he sprayed the topical mist, the water-based product, on his head, and it didn't take too long, but they all healed up and closed up and went away. People that have lumps and bumps and stops. There's a peer-reviewed published article shows that it stops metastasis. So, I mean, this is a big thing. So that's good news there. Also, we want to talk about this one girl called me yesterday or the day before, and she bought a whole bunch of our product. She had metal toxicity in her body. And toxins are basically, they steal electrons off of molecules. And she had a lot of metal in her body. And basically, the doctor said, we can't help you. And so she's been using the carbon 60. She said, I'm not going to tell you yet, but this is probably saving my life because her toxicity is going away. It picks up heavy metal. Heavy metals are molecules that are missing electrons, and the carbon will give an electron. The heavy metals are stronger because they're heavier, they have a greater electron pull. So it works very well with detox. Similarly, like radiation damage,
Uh-huh.
radiation will knock an electron off of a molecule, and the higher frequencies do that more often. That's why the higher frequencies, your X-rays and your gamma rays, or a nuclear holocaust or something like that, they knock a lot of electrons off your body, but the carbon 60 will put it right on, put the electron back on. Actually, they tested mice and gave them a lethal dose of radiation. And the carbon
Wow.
60, oh, there you go. And the carbon 60 put the electron back on. The ones with the carbon 60, the mice didn't even notice the damage. The ones without the carbon 60, they obviously died because of the excessive amount of radiation. So it will protect against radiation damage. You always hear when you get radiation treatment for cancer, it kills or it infects all the cells that are around it. Well, they're knocking electrons off, which is causing more of the same thing. So that radiation, too much of it will kill it, and a little bit will cause more cancer. So those are some stories and people
Right.
with,
Well,
yeah,
it seems like an obvious thing that it's going to help with things like cancer. But I get the impression from people out there that they're not using it. I don't know if it just isn't known enough or what. I mean, heard about it quite a long time ago, and that's why I was actually looking for someone who would have that. I've got more than one group company that sells the C60. I think
right.
they're different. The products are slightly different, but that way people have a choice. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's great stuff, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think that it should help. Anything, any kind of illness. Illnesses are complex. There's more than just, you take this, you get better. You have to have the mind involved and the heart and all of the sort of the various bodies, as they're called, to actually promote the healing of the entire human. So, but it seems to bypass all the barriers, right?
Well, it does. It goes past the blood-brain barrier. It'll get into all your cells. Like I said, you can fit 14 billion of them inside one red blood cell, so they're very tiny. And we're the only ones that really make them that small. Everybody else is 200,000 times larger in size. So yeah, there's a lot of companies out there. There were quite a few. There were about 100 companies, but about 50 of them weeded out. So there's probably about 50 companies out there now that sell a supplement made with carbon 60, but they all use solvents in their process, and we don't. And their particle size is very much larger than ours. So ours is much more bioavailable, and that sets us apart from everybody else. And we have the results to prove it. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
So they can go to your website, and your website is this, right? www.c60.com, right?
correct.
And then they put Camelot, and do they get a discount of some kind?
Uh, Sure, they might. Yeah, I bet they do. I don't know. I'm not the computer geek here. So,
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I think that that's supposed to be the case, but
yeah.
certainly go for it and
Well,
try it. I also understand from someone on your team that you had some kind of Christmas special. Do you know anything about that?
we have a tri-pack. If you get three bottles, we give you a big discount on them. And so you can either get the carbon 60 in the olive oil, which is the one with the green label, or the carbon 60 in the sunflower oil, which is a blue label, and you get a water-based product, either the mist or the hydrated fullerenes, we have it, and then you get a face serum. There's four products, and you get three or four in that special going on. So just go to the website, take a look at it, pick through it, pick and choose. We got discounts for the holiday season.
Awesome. Okay, so in terms of anything else that you want to, is there any, because some people are really worried about, I don't know, the nanographene oxide. So you think that it actually removes that?
Well, graphene oxide is a flat sheet of carbon with OH groups around it, which oxygen hydrogen groups with oxides on it, with oxygens. And so would it remove that? It would neutralize it if it was a positively charged molecule, because the electrons from the carbon 60 molecule would be given up to those positively charged graphene sheets. So it would neutralize any damage. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Great.
super detoxifier. I mean, it's better than activated charcoal has always been known as a great detoxifier. You have a carbon water filter on your water. Carbon picks up all the toxins. And these are super nano size. They're only 20 nanometers, which is really small. They're very tiny in size.
So what's the significance of that? That
With the
it's small?
size factor,
Yeah.
well, yeah, they're more bioavailable. They get around your body. They can float
Oh,
around. They can pass through membranes. You can put some on topically, and it will. We have documented proof it'll reach an organ within 5 minutes, and it will modify the health of the organ. Some people see results in sometimes minutes. And,
Great.
typically, depending upon, they know, like people that have like allergies, they would snort some up their nose and the next day they wouldn't have allergies. They wouldn't have any issues I mean, I do it myself. If I have a stuffed up cloggy nose, I'll snort some up my nose and then 10 minutes later, my breathing's restored and I can go to sleep.
Okay, now is this so you have a spray, you have a mist, and then you also have the drops, right? Do you have
Right.
something else or is that it?
The face serum. That's
Okay,
basically
yeah.
it, which is a pink bottle. And yeah, that's carbon 60 and squalane oil. It's a very good topical oil. It's very high-end cosmetic oil that we put it in. And it works very well, like for acne or for wrinkles. It softens the wrinkles. People have a radiant glow. They will notice radiant glow is what they will see after they use it. And that's only in one day. I mean, you can tell the difference. So,
Okay. So I see
okay.
I'm at your website right now. I do see that there is a discount just with the
Yeah.
first part. Um, and these are all the different products. So you have one for pets as well, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a pet product. It comes in a pump squirt bottle. You spray one squirt on their food and one for a cat and probably 5 squirts for a large dog. And basically, you'll notice within a few days their coats will improve significantly. Um, dogs, they're weeping of their eyes, it stops, and things like that happen. They're more lively, they have more energy, they have more health. Of course, they have a higher metabolism than humans because they're a smaller animal, and so they can notice the benefits pretty quick.
Okay. So in other words, why is there a pet version as opposed to the human? What's the difference?
Basically, the application, the bottle, it's the same liquid inside the bottle, but for a pet, we had people with their dog, they'd open the bottle and their dog sees it and they would jump up on them, and they got a dropper in one hand and an open bottle in the other, and they'd spill it. So we had
Right.
requests from people, some of our customers, if we could put it in a squirt bottle so they could operate it with one hand with no chance of spilling it. I have this one guy, his cats will line up in front of him and just waiting for the product. I have other cats that will go lick the carbon 60 off of their wet food, come back and eat the wet food later. So, animals have a sense and
Yeah,
they
they
like
do.
the product.
Yeah, I think my dog really likes it. So she'll lick it off a spoon or something
There
also.
you go.
I
I
wasn't
mean,
sure if I was supposed to like spray it on her teeth or like in her mouth where to,
just as long as she gets it in her, put it in there, or if they, some pets have a rash or a skin thing, and you could part their hair a little bit and put some on there.
all right.
Um, yeah, to focus on a specific area. So both topically and orally, they all work good, except for the face serum, that's a topical only, you know, because of the
Okay.
squalane oil. It's not really an ingestible. If you drank it, there's no child-proof cap on it. If you drank it, it's not going to hurt you. There's no child-proof caps on any of them. You can drink the whole bottle, except for the face serum. You don't want, it's not recommended. It's not going to hurt you unless you drink like 3 or 4 bottles of it. But there's only one bottle usually open at a time in someone's house. But the other products, there's no toxicity threshold for carbon. It's actually a deep cleaning, cleansing agent.
Great. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so yeah, well, I'm glad to have you back on the show and have you talking about this. Is there any specific area that maybe we haven't spoken about that you might want to bring up?
Uh, Well, mental clarity and stuff like that. Matter of fact, I was working with Denver University here, and I said, "Hey, they're studying Alzheimer's and dementia." And I said, "Hey, because carbon 60 ought to look at it." This was back in 2018, and they said, "No, we don't want to look at your product and blah blah blah. You're only going on hearsay." But since then, there's been peer-reviewed, published articles coming out that carbon 60 helps with Alzheimer's and
Right.
dementia. And we have customers that say, well, I remember to take the product, but I forget to take my meds. But so I mean, there is something going on there.
Okay,
So
so let me ask that we have a small chat room. I didn't get to advance advertise this show that much, but eventually I'm sure they'll be asking questions. Um, so is there anyone if you have a question, please put it in the chat right now before we close this down. Uh, well, it's great. It's a great product. It's something I use, like I say, every day as much as I can. So I think it's wonderful. And I just want to highly recommend it. Any closing remarks, Bob?
I mean, we take it orally on a regular basis, but if you got a knee problem, you put some on topically, it floods that part of the body with the carbon 60 molecules because most likely that knee problem or that inflammation, it really targets the inflammation really heavily. So that helps quite a bit. And
Okay, good to
inflammation is
know.
the cause of a lot of problems. And so if you get rid of the inflammation, usually your problems go away. So yeah,
Excellent.
try it for the people. Keep it on hand. Their children come up, they have a headache, they'll spray some on their forehead or between their eyes, and their headache goes away. I mean, it penetrates very quickly, or it'll reach an organ within 5 minutes. We have documented proof of that, showing that it does that, and it improves the health of the organ. It gets rid of that oxidative stress, that domino effect of stealing one electron from one molecule to another, and it stops that from disrupting the cell. You get rid of that, the cell functions the way God intended it. Everything works good, and yeah. So anyone, I just want to put my phone number out there too. If anybody has any questions about it, they can call our office number or my cell. They both go to the same number, but it says, uh, you can call, 720 and we'll
Okay,
ask
now we've got
questions
that on the
and give
screen.
Carrie, yeah, and give Carrie the credit. So be
All
healthy,
right.
everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Well, have a great holiday and thank you for coming on the show and sharing your knowledge. And yeah, I hope that some people will find the value in it. And I think once you try it, you're probably gonna want to use it pretty regularly. So,
Especially if you have some health issue that's tough to tackle or anything, it's less expensive than a doctor's visit or a prescription. And you do it in your own home. There's no negative, no downside to it. It's only carbon, but it gives up an electron. That's the beauty of it. So, well, thank you, Carrie. You have a happy holiday and a good season, and nice talking to you again.
all right.
Thank you for having me
You
on.
too. Take care. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for watching and have a good holiday. And I'll be back tomorrow with another show. So thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.